Tension is who you think you should be. Relaxation is who you are. That's a Chinese proverb that lines up perfectly with what we're going to talk about today. With the holidays coming up, I want you to imagine a holiday season filled with peace, calm, and relaxation, whatever that looks like for you. Whether you're at a gathering with friends and family, where you actually enjoy the friends and the family instead of racing around to get things done, to get food out, to get dinner on the table, to whatever. Or chilling with a blanket and your favorite book or a movie, either alone or maybe with a special someone, whatever it looks like to you. Or looking out to the ocean beach from your cabana because you escaped the holidays to a tropical oasis. I know. You can't do this. Your situation is different. You can't relax. You have to do things the way you've always done them. I know. So let's talk about what you can do. Welcome to the Women Rockin' Midlife Podcast, soulful wellness to elevate your second act. You deserve to deeply love every moment of your life, living your best life with pure joy, optimal health and abundance, with the energy, time, and inner peace to savor experiences with your loved ones and with yourself. Hi, I'm Jen Kunkel. Join me on this soulful journey to complete wellness in midlife and beyond. Can you believe the holidays are already here? It's crazy, right? Well, they are just around the corner, pretty much on top of us, actually. So let's talk about how to dial down that stress and anxiety. Because that's the last thing you need right now, right? Is more stress and more anxiety. And here's the deal. I don't care how unique you think your situation is. My answers are unique too. My solutions, my methods. So hear me out and discover some of your hidden joy this holiday season. Or don't. Sign off. Kick me to the curb and go on with your holiday suffering, you martyr you. Stress and anxiety, you may or may not know, might be actually made worse by menopause. So maybe you've been feeling extra stressful and extra anxious and you think that's just life and it's just been building up and building up. Well, it actually could be due to your hormones and menopause. And then you stack on the holidays and bam, it's out of control, right? You're feeling the kind of stress and anxiety you maybe have never felt before, or maybe only in like extreme situations. You know, as a kid, I loved the holidays. Anticipation, right? I loved getting together with the family, and I loved the anticipation of a great gift because, you know, we didn't have a lot when I was growing up. I don't think we were poor. I guess I kind of thought we were poor, but it seems like I never felt like I was doing without. So we're like, okay, poor, I guess. I don't know. But of course, when I still believed in Santa, I thought, yay, Santa can bring us the big cool gift that the parents aren't able to afford. Anyway, I always looked forward to Christmas, and of course, you know, kids do, right? So the anticipation, the excitement. And then as I got older, like in my 20s, when I was making my own money, right? In my 20s at first, I was making decent money, or I was good with money. Maybe I wasn't making that much money at first, but I was good with money. And then as I started making better money, I loved buying my family lots of great gifts. And I could easily spend $1,000 on Christmas. Well, then in my 30s, I had lifestyle changes happened, actually, and I had gotten divorced, and changed jobs and, I was still doing okay. But I just felt like it was becoming such a burden. All the shopping, figuring out what to get for everyone. And I might have sort of started becoming a little bit minimalist in a way then, or started kind of getting that mindset coming into me, waking up to the fact that consumerism is not so great, right? And I kind of became a Scrooge when it came to Christmas and the holidays. I really didn't look forward to it. I mean, actually, I always liked Thanksgiving because I really loved everybody getting together. I always liked that part of it. I enjoyed that part of it. And I enjoyed the parties and making like fun food and nice food. So I liked that part of it. What I really didn't like was all the consumerism part of it, the getting stressed out over getting everybody the perfect gift, because most of the people in my life at that point already had everything they needed, except maybe the kids. So turn like 2008, right? And the economic downturn in the world. My family had a business, or my parents had the family business, and, things kind of got tight, and they were doing everything they could to keep it afloat. So we came up with a new family agreement that we would only do gifts for the kids and we would not do gifts for the adults. Well, since then, we have done some other things for the adults. We do like a fun gift exchange, and I'll talk about that a little bit later when I'm talking about some tips for you. So it's really cool. But anyway, when we got this new family agreement, it was a relief. I think my stepdad, I remember we were all at dinner and he mentioned it. And I think he was kind of worried about how we were going to react. And I think we were all kind of relieved, honestly. We were like, yes, that sounds fantastic. Taking all the pressure off. So you might be surprised how well dialing things down will go over with your friends and family. So let's just talk about, I got kind of like 3 main points here to talk about what you can actually do and what's going on here. So this might be just like blowing you away. Oh my gosh, what are we going to do about this? Well, here's the thing. The expectations that everybody has around what the holidays are supposed to be, and it might look different for different people. Of course, everybody has their own experience that they go through. But generally speaking, our modern society is very conditioned to this materialism and perfection, right? The gifts have to be perfect. Like I said, I stressed out over buying everybody the perfect gift, something that they would really love. And I know there were times when it was a complete fail. And I felt like I failed and I felt like I messed up. I remember I searched and scoured for a gift for my sister-in-law, and I thought I was buying something that she liked. She was like really into this certain theme of things. So I searched and searched and searched for something unique that fit that theme. And when I finally found it, shortly after the holidays, I visited their home and I didn't see it. And I thought that was weird. And I said something to my brother about it. And I kind of noticed that the other stuff in that theme wasn't really there either. And yeah, so she kind of shifted themes and I didn't realize it. And I was disappointed in myself for kind of not knowing that. And like, oh, I worked so hard to get that gift. Anyway, so you put this pressure on yourself, and it comes from conditioning that we're expecting this perfect holiday or the perfect, with all the bells and whistles, the perfect gifts, the perfect decorations, the perfect parties, the perfect food, the perfect outfits. What else? Like, think about what is it in your holidays that you think needs to be a certain way. Like, really take a mental inventory. You could even write it down if you want to, or you can do that later because I have a download for you. So yes, we're going to really look at this and analyze this, right? So you can change it and do something different. So you take this inventory. Take your inventory. What do you expect to be perfect? Or what does perfect look like to you? What does the perfect holiday look like to you? What does that involve? And then look at that and see what you can change. And I'm gonna go through details on how you can do that in a few minutes. But first, just high level, let's look at this. You set new expectations, right? So these are the old expectations that probably came from conditioning, maybe how your family did it, maybe just society, maybe it's just the bombardment with the ads and all the, ooh, look at this perfect holiday party and this perfect decorated living room at this house and this perfectly decorated beautiful Christmas spread on the table, or whatever holiday it is, Thanksgiving or whatever holiday you're doing in whatever country you're in. The perfect spread, right? Everything's, a lot of marketing is what I'm saying. Like, the marketing's conditioning you that it has to be a certain way. And, you need to go buy these perfect holiday dishes or whatever. So what else, Take your inventory and think about, where's that really coming from? Is that really what you want? Or is it just what you've been conditioned to think that you want, or to think that you're supposed to do? And then start shifting to new expectations. And really, that is about setting boundaries. So first of all, you're setting boundaries with yourself. You're getting clarity on what you really, really want. And then you need to first accept and buy into this new perfect, that's actually imperfect, because there is really no such thing as perfect anyway. Think about that. How is something perfect? Is that even a thing? You look at something and it can always be better. It can always be improved upon. So it's never perfect. And at the same time, it's always perfect. Or like, you're always perfect, right? Because you're in the exact place that you're meant to. So first thing is, you must buy into this idea that your holiday doesn't have to look how anybody else says it has to look. And that goes with everything, actually. You don't have to be how everybody expects you to be. But let's just keep this focused on the holidays. But it's a general concept, right? The conditioning, materialism, perfection. Is that really how you want your life to be? Think about it. Think about what's really important to you on your holidays and start setting a new expectation. And like I said, it starts with boundaries. And I don't just mean boundaries with other people. I mean boundaries with yourself, to say, okay, why am I really doing this? Am I doing this because this is what mother always did for the holidays, or this is what grandma always did for the holidays, or this is what the TV told me I'm supposed to be doing for the holidays? Or maybe you didn't have the beautiful, perfect holidays growing up and you think that you need to make up for that by having them now. And it puts undue pressure and stress on you. I mean, if it's not putting undue pressure and stress on you and you love it and you really enjoy it and every piece of it is something that you want to do, then by all means, keep doing it. I'm not saying you have to, just like any other conditioning or what somebody else is telling you it should be. I'm not telling you that, hey, you need to scale your holidays back, even if you absolutely freaking love doing what you're doing. No way. If you love it and it's not stressing you out and you're being truthfully honest with yourself that it's not stressing you out, then keep doing it. Don't scale anything back, add more if that's what you want to do. If you're not feeling stressed and anxious and pressured by it. It's a big difference, right? It's all about how you feel about it. So if you're feeling good, keep doing it. If you're feeling like it's a burden and it's pressure and there's a part of you that dreads it, or maybe all of you dreads it, then it's time to make some changes. And you have to set those boundaries with yourself and get really clear. And then, of course, you're probably going to need to communicate these changes to the rest of the people in your life. So if your family is used to everybody's buying $1,000 worth of gifts for everybody, then have a conversation, because they might appreciate that actually. Yes. And then, or whatever the situation is, or hey, you know what I'm going to talk about some details. We're going to do the big holiday dinner for Thanksgiving. We're going to do something a little less for Christmas, or something different. Or let's do something different this year. Whatever the conversation starts out to be, whatever it is that you want to do. If you don't want to do all the decorations this year, then just don't do them. Maybe you communicate this to everyone else. Maybe you don't. It really depends on your situation, obviously. And then give the people in your life and yourself a little grace for adjusting, because it will take some adjustment. And then, like I said, it might be a surprise, and they might love the idea to dial things down just as much as you do. They might even love it more. You never know. So then the pressure's off, and you can enjoy your beautiful holidays. I have some real specific tips and strategies for you, but first let's talk a little bit about some of the ways that all of this perfectionism can actually work against your general wellness and your well-being. Obviously, the stress, right? I mean, stress is not good for you. It's not good for your health. It's not good for your weight. It's not good for your emotional and mental well-being. It's just not good for your wellness at all. That's why I talk about stress so much. And when you start questioning the norms that are leading us into overindulging and pigging out and having tons of sugar. Last year, I went through the holidays with no sugar. Crazy, right? I was doing this program called 75 Hard, and I'm pretty sure I already talked about this in an episode, so I'll link that. I don't actually recommend. I mean, no sugar is great, but anything extreme I don't recommend. So I think I talked about this in another episode, so I'll link that episode in the show notes. I'll find it and link it for you. What else? What else are societal conditioning and norms that are working against your wellness when it comes to the holidays? Think about what else for you. And then what happens when we question those norms? You say no to overindulging. You say no to overindulging in food, and you say no to overindulging in the consumerism. You can see how what you're doing really aligns with your values and your goals, or how it doesn't, right? I mean, I kind of think about, why do we really even have Christmas anyway? I mean, those are kind of questions you ask when you're a kid, or I did. And you get whatever answer you get, and you kind of accept it, and you move on, and it just becomes the norm. And it's like, I mean, what's it really about? So if you're religious and, all the things that are associated with that, what does that really have to do with a Christmas tree and gifts and eating lots of sugar? Like, how does that all play in? I mean, that part sounds a lot like marketing, right? So anyway, questioning norms, that's what I do, right? Let me know what you think about that. Yeah, it's fun. We all get together, so let's keep doing it, right? That's what most people say, something like that. We lie to our kids about Santa Claus. Hopefully no kids are listening. Talk about trust issues, right? I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I'm not going around telling all the kids there's no Santa, though. Don't worry. Unless they're listening to this right now and then they're hearing that. But you really have to step back and go, is this really good? I think I sort of felt that way. Like, hey, what, you've been lying to me about this? Like, what else have you lied about? What else isn't true? What else isn't real? Anyway, just food for thought there, right? Okay, my integrity tangent, or whatever you want to call it, my radical anti-conditioning thoughts that I have. So let's get down to some real life tips and strategies that you can actually use to make your holidays less stressful, and just forget about all of what I just said if that's stressing you out. Now you're worried about traumatizing your child because you're telling them that Santa is real, or your grandchildren, whatever the case may be. Could be both. My friend has a 31-year-old, 31-year-old and an 11-year-old, so in his 50s. So you could have both, right? Yeah, and a grandchild he has too. So he does have a very young grandchild and an 11-year-old son. I'm digressing today, right? All right, those real tips and strategies, let's get to it. First thing is first, right? Get real about what you can strip away completely from your holidays. Again, only if you want to, only if it's causing you stress and pressure, and what you can strip down to a minimum. So I'm going to give you a link in the show notes to the holidays, or stress less holidays checklist. I'm obviously already going on vacation here, right? Tripping over my words a little. All right. Write down key phrases. So you want to design, with everything when you're making it real, you want to design supportive environments. You want something that makes it easier for you to actually implement, right? So here's a thought. Just like they say, out of sight, out of mind. If it's in front of you every day, you're going to think about it every day. Until you don't, okay? Well, first let me give you the tip. Write down some key phrases or a list or something to remind you of the things you want to change, and then post it in a place you're going to see every day. Just to remind you, like, hey, calm down with the holidays, dial it down. Any kind of phrase that's going to trigger you to remember. Don't put the pressure on yourself. Take it easy, be relaxed, let it be whatever it is. Whatever kind of phrases work for you, and then post it in a place you'll see it every day. Now, when you're using this technique of posting something where you're going to see it every day, I suggest that you move it around after maybe a few weeks if it's something long term. This is for the holidays, so you don't necessarily need to, just have it up for the holidays. But if it's something that you're reminding yourself of all the time, move it into a different place, because once you start to see something in the same place over and over again, you start to not see it. It becomes so, like, it's just part of the background and it sort of blends in. You become unconscious of it sometimes. And then communicate with your family and friends whatever it is that you decided to strip down out of your holidays, or just completely eliminate. Whatever you want to do that's different, have a conversation. And if you need to, schedule a time in your calendar to actually do it. Okay? Now, if you're feeling hesitant, scared, or worried about ruining the holidays or what the reactions are going to be, then add this piece too. Meditate and focus on self-love or confidence or whatever you need to give you the strength or courage to bring this up to them. Okay? And I have a whole bunch of meditations on Wild Savvy Meditations. So I'll put the link to that podcast as well. It's a separate podcast. There's about a dozen or so meditations in there, and you can check that out. All right. And then journal about what your own vision of a perfect holiday is, or do this part first, whichever works for you. Journal about your own vision of what the perfect holiday really looks like for you. If you could have it any way with no negative consequences, journal that, script it out, like do a mental rehearsal and write it down on paper so that you can really taste it and feel it and see it and smell it, whatever it actually is. Really get vivid with your imagination and get yourself in touch with what you really, really, really want, okay? And that might be enough to motivate you to have the conversation with people so that you don't feel yourself drudging through another holiday or just, surviving, like barely keeping your head above water. Nobody wants to feel like that. And I don't think your family wants you to feel like that, or your friends. So, take the pressure off yourself. And remember too, like when my family did that, I think most of us were relieved. I know I was. I enjoyed the holidays so much more after that. After my family, my stepdad and my mom said, "Hey, let's do things this way now." And it was great, So someone needs to be the one to take that step. And it doesn't have to be because, things are down. Maybe it's not even about that. Maybe it's just about, like, I'm a weird girl, okay? I don't really like to shop. I don't even like to shop for myself. I actually would rather shop for somebody else than myself. But that's part of what I didn't like about the holidays, going to the busy stores. And, the last maybe couple or few holidays that I did shop, I did it all online because I don't like going in crowded stores. It's not for me. So maybe there's something like that for you too. And if that's the case, just be honest with your family about how you're feeling, or you don't want to support the consumerism, whatever it is that's taking the joy out of it. Even if it just feels like too much, it's just too much pressure and you just don't want to do it. You don't even have to have a reason. It's just, if it's not joyful for you, then just share that with them. And I think most people will be understanding. And if they're not, I'm sorry. I mean, escape to that tropical oasis if you have to, right? I don't mean to make light of it because it's stressful, and it's especially stressful if you don't have support of your family. So I really, really hope that that's not the case. And, honestly, if they don't get it and they don't support you when you are asking for something that's really important to you, then kind of sorry for them, right? Do what you need to do for yourself, and hopefully it will be balanced out. Have that intent that everyone is going to come around and they're really going to be okay with it. And the world's not perfect, so I know that that's probably not going to be the case 100% of the time for 100% of the people. And if you want to reach out to me, if you're having a specific issue with someone, please do. I'd like to hear from you. And I'll support you, okay? All right, and then remember to download the checklist, and that link will be in the show notes. It'll walk you through what we just talked about so that you can actually make this real in your life. And imagine yourself having this beautiful, peaceful, relaxing holiday, okay? I am also going to include in the show notes something even more solid to help you with your stress and anxiety in general, not just for the holidays. I'm developing a new program. At the moment, I'm thinking it's going to be a virtual retreat. So get on the wait list for that if that sounds intriguing to you. I would even be interested in having a chat with you to ask you some questions while I'm in the development mode of this program. So if you're interested, reach out in the show notes. If this is a fresh episode, then it'll probably be something like reach out and connect with me in a private message. And I would love to have an actual chat with you and talk to you about the program. If you're listening to this later, it might be a wait list. So check out the show notes if you are interested in that. And thank you so much for joining me today. Hit me up on my socials, and those are in the show notes also. And have an amazing holiday. Let's rock this midlife thing together and enjoy the holidays. Much love.